about violence against women and children, or VAUSI. It's something that sadly happens in many parts of the world, but we're here to talk about it openly, and most importantly, how we can all make a difference. First, let's take a break it down. VAUSI is a term used to describe any act of violence or abuse that hurts women and children. It can take many forms: physical, emotional, psychological, and even sexual. These kinds of acts not only hurt the victim physically, but they also leave long-lasting emotional scars. Remember, VAUSI is not just an issue for women and children to deal with alone. It's something we all must take seriously, because we can stand together, we can make the world a safer place for everyone, whether it's through surviving a survivor, getting educated, or even just spreading awareness. Every action counts. So, today, let's promise to be the change we want to see. Let's make sure everyone knows VAUSI is not okay, and we're here to do something about it. And remember, together we can make difference. And let's take this opportunity to welcome our principal of this constitution, Paulette Catherine Donia.
Good morning, everyone. It's my great honor and pleasure to welcome you all to today's seminars on violence against women and children. This seminar is an important initiative aimed at raising awareness and understanding of a topic that affects many lives in our society. We are truly grateful to have such a distinguished group of speakers with us today. I would like to extend a warm welcome to Attorney Charis Cabana, who will be sharing his expertise and insights on legal protections and actions against VAUSI. Her knowledge and dedication to advocating for victims is invaluable. We are also privileged to have Officer Diwag, Advocated Police Officer, who will talk about the crucial role law enforcement plays in protecting our communities and responding to such cases. And we are grateful to have our guidance counselors with us today, who has been actively involved in demonstrating how we can better support each other, especially in the school setting, to prevent and address the issue of violence. This seminar is a reminder of our responsibility as a community, students, teachers, and everyone, to stand together in creating a safer and more supportive environment for everyone, particularly women and children who are vulnerable to violence. I welcome all of you today, and I hope that today's discussions will inspire us all to take actions in our own ways. I encourage everyone to listen closely, ask questions, and open to learning how we can contribute to making a massive change. Once again, welcome to everyone present for being part of this important event. Let's work together to make our world a better place for all. Thank you.
Thank you for your wonderful message, Ms. Paulette Catherine Donia, our principal on this Constitution. And now, let's welcome Ms. Lai, Teacher 3, to introduce our guest speaker for today's event. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests and fellow advocates for change, today we gather to confront a critical issue that profoundly impacts the very fabric of our society: violence against women and their children. To guide us through this pivotal conversation, we have the distinct honor of welcoming our esteemed guest speaker, Attorney Charis Cabana, a truly exceptional lawyer and counselor whose dual expertise illuminates the intricate intersection of law and emotional healing. Ms. Therese earned her Bachelor of Arts in Psychology from the prestigious Ateneo de Manila University, where her fervent passion for unraveling the complexities of the human psyche flourished. She then pursued her Bachelor of Laws in the River University of the Philippines, arming herself with formidable legal knowledge necessary to champion justice for those most in need. What makes her journey particularly inspiring is her remarkable ability to weave these two disciplines into a cohesive and powerful approach to advocacy that is compassionate as it is impactful. But here's lies at least. Ms. Therese Cabana ardently believes that genuine empowerment transcends mere legal victories. It is deeply rooted in the poignant stories of resilience and courage that survivors bravely share. She has devoted her career to amplifying these vital voices, ensuring they resonate within our collective consciousness and are integral to our advocacy efforts. By artfully harmonizing her legal acumen with her counseling expertise, Ms. Therese brings a compassionate supporting survivors, helping them navigate the often overwhelming legal system, while providing the emotional care they need during challenging times. Her approach goes beyond just legal presentation, focusing on healing and empowerment for those who have experienced trauma. Today, she will illuminate the intricate interplay between legal frameworks and psychological healing in the context of violence against women and children. Ms. Therese will elucidate how we can more effectively advocate for transformative change, not solely through policy reform, but by fostering a culture of empathy, understanding, and empowerment that uplifts survivors. As we engage with her profound insights, let us be inspired to take resolute action to challenge the entrenched norms that allow violence to persist and stand in unwavering solidarity with those who have courageously shared their stories. Together, we can forge a future where every woman and child is afforded the dignity, safety, and respect they inherently deserve. Please join me in extending a warm and heartfelt welcome to the remarkable attorney Ms. Therese Cabana.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me here today. It's truly an honor to stand before you to engage in a conversation that is not only important but essential for the well-being of our society. Today, we're talking about an issue that affects millions of lives globally: the violence against women and children, or the VAUCI. And the theme that unites us today is clear: respect, protect, and support, creating a violence-free world for all. Now, we know that violence in any form should never be accepted as part of anyone's life. Yet, across the world, women and children continue to face abuse in their homes, workplace, and communities. This is where laws such as the Anti-Violence Against Women and Children Act of 2004 in the Philippines and similar legislation globally plays a vital role. These laws are not just a form of protection, they are a call to action. Let's break down this conversation into respect, protect, and support as we connect it to our theme today. Respect is the foundation of any healthy relationship or community. When we respect others, whether a woman, a child, or anyone, we understand their rights, their dignity, and their worth. The law is very clear on this. Every person, regardless of their gender or age, has the fundamental right to live free from violence. Women and children have the right to be respected, to live with dignity, and to make their own choices without fear of them. Take, for example, the case of Maria, a woman who had endured years of physical and emotional abuse from her partner. Thanks to the anti-VAUCI law, she was able to file a petition for a protection order. The court issued an order preventing her abuser from contacting or harming her. It's not just about law enforcement. It's about respecting the rights to live free from fear. To protect, it means to stand guard, to ensure that no one is left vulnerable or helpless. And this is exactly what the law does. It ensures that the most vulnerable in our society are shielded from harm. Under the VAUSI law, protective measures are in place, from issuing protection order to allowing shelters for victims to temporarily escape dangerous situations. These legal tools are vital. Take the case of children who suffer from domestic violence. The law mandates that authorities act swiftly when there is suspicion of child abuse. The Children's Welfare Code and related laws work in tandem with VAUSI legislation to safeguard the well-being of minors. Imagine a child like Jana who is routinely exposed to violence at home. Thanks to these laws, agencies like social welfare can intervene quickly, offering immediate protection and placing the child in a safer environment. And finally, we need to talk about support. Laws are not just enough if there isn't a solid support. To help victims rebuild their lives, support is not just legal, it's emotional, psychological, and financial. The Violence Against Women and Children, or the VAUSI law, for instance, recognizes the importance of rehabilitation and counseling. It goes beyond just punishing the perpetrators. It provides for the rehabilitation of offenders and comprehensive services for the victims. Let's look at one of my clients, let's call her Laura, not her real name, who was not only physically abused, but also struggled with emotional trauma. Through the law, she accessed counseling services and legal aid, helping her recover both mentally and legally. It's about healing, both for the victim and for the society that has failed to protect her. The goal of respect, protect, and support is not just to respond to violence, but to prevent it. Imagine a world where every woman and child is able to walk through life without fear, where society, families, and communities stand as pillars of protection, where laws are a tool of empowerment, not just punishment. As legal professionals, we are often the first line of defense. But our role doesn't end in the courtroom. We must also educate, advocate, and spread awareness. Every single one of us has a role in ensuring the violence is not tolerated. By advocating for stronger enforcement of the Violence Against Women and Children, or the VAUSI law, providing services for survivors, and changing mindsets about gender equality and child protection, we can create a world where violence has no place. So, let's take this theme to heart. Respect, protect, and support. Together, we can build a violence-free world for all. Thank you.
Thank you for your heartfelt message, Ms. Charis Cabanya. And for now, let's welcome our lecturer, Ms. Jasmine Soriano, and Ms. Maureen Trofilo to give us a knowledge about VAUSI.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Maureen Trofilo, your guidance counselor, and I'm here to talk about a very important law that protects women and children. This seminar focuses on Republic Act 9262, also known as the Anti-Violence Against Women and Their Children, Act 2004. This law was signed by President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo into law Republic Act No. 9262 on March 8, 2004 during the celebration of the International Women's Day and took effect on March 27, 2004. Isipin nyo, during a day meant to celebrate women, a law was enacted to protect them from violence. It took effect on March 27, 2004, and it's been an important case in protecting women and children ever since. So what exactly is VAUSI? Violence Against Women and their Children. refers to any act of a series of acts committed by any person against woman or against her child, whether legitimate or illegitimate, within or without the family above, which result in or is likely to result in physical, sexual, psychological harm or suffering, or economic abuse. Basically, it's any act or series of acts that hurts a woman or her child. This could be physical harm, like hitting or slapping. It could be sexual harm, like rape or harassment. It also be emotional or psychological harm, like constant insults, threats, or intimidation. Pati na rin ang economic abuse, like preventing a woman from working or controlling her finances, is considered bousy. Kahit isa lang na pangyayari or paulit-ulit inside or outside the home, covered ng batas na ito. Who is protected under this law? It protects women in several different situations: wives, ex-wives, or former wives, girlfriends, ex-girlfriends, or any woman with whom the person has or had a sexual or dating relationship, and the woman with whom the offender has a common child. It also protects all children under 18, whether legitimate or illegitimate, within or without the family above, so regardless of whether they live with their parents or not. They covered this law. Now, sino naman ang pwedeng maging offender? It could be husband, former husband, boyfriend or ex-boyfriend, live-in partner or ex-live-in partner, person with whom the woman has a common child with, person with whom the woman has or had a sexual or dating relationship. Hindi lang lalaki ang pwedeng maging offender. Even women in same-sex relationships can be held accountable under this law. Is bousy committed by men alone? A common misconception is that only men can commit bousy. The answer is resounding no. The law uses the word person, meaning anyone regardless of gender can be an offender. This includes women in sex relationship. It's also important to remember that someone can be held responsible for bousy even if they didn't directly commit the violence. For example, if someone encourages or helps another person to hurt woman or child, they can also held accountable under RA 9262. Who else may be liable? It must be further noted that Section 5 or RA Note 9262 expressly recognizes that the acts of violence against women and their children may be committed by an offender through another. For example, someone could hire someone else to hurt their partner. So who may lie? Sino ang pwedeng mag-file ng kaso? The victim herself, her parents, her guardians, her children or grandchildren, relatives, barangay officials, social workers, police officers, even concerned citizens with personal knowledge of the abuse. Pwede rin ang lawyer, counselor, or therapist niya. We are all responsible for protecting women and children. If you know someone who is experiencing violence, please encourage them to seek help. Maraming resources ang available para sa kanila. Huwag tayong matakot na tumulong at magsalita. Having set the stage, let's clarify what the exactly constitute bousy under the Republic Act 9262.
So, hello everyone. I am Jasmine Soriano, one of the guidance counselor of this institution, and it's a privilege to be with you today to discuss a critical issue that demands our attention and action: the violence against women and children. Today, I'll be discussing the specific acts that fall under violence against women and their children, or what they call DAS. It's important to know what constitutes bousy para alam natin kung paano protektahan ang sarili natin at ang ating mga mahal sa buhay. And as by discussed from Ms. Maureen, there are several forms of bousy, like the physical violence. Physical violence is the most obvious. It refers to acts that includes bodily or physically harm. So, it involves any act that causes physical harm or injury to another person. This can range from slapping, punching, kicking, and shoving to more severe forms like strangulation, burning, and use of weapons. There are the examples of physical violence. The possible impact of these are physical violence can lead to immediate injuries, long-term health problems, and even death. It can also cause emotional distress, fear, and anxiety. The second one is sexual violence. Sexual violence refers to an act which is sexual in nature, committed against a woman or her child. Sexual violence encompasses any unwanted sexual act or behavior, including rape, sexual assault, sexual harassment, and forced prostitution. It can also include non-contact forms like sexual coercion, exploitation, and stalking. The example of this are what I mentioned earlier, like rape. So, the impact of this can have devastating psychological and emotional consequences, including PTSD, anxiety, depression, and difficulty trusting others. It can also lead to physical injuries and sexually transmitted infection. The third one is psychological violence. Psychological violence refers to acts or omission causing or likely to cause mental or emotional suffering of the victim. So, the psychological violence often involves verbal abuse, threats, intimidation, isolation, and manipulation. The example of these are name-calling, insults, threats, intimidation, constant criticism, belittling, gaslighting, or making someone doubt their own sanity, controlling behavior, isolation from friends and families, and withholding affection. The impact of this in our lives can have a profound on person's mental health, leading to anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, and difficulty forming healthy relationships. It can also contribute to substance abuse and suffering. The last form of VAUSI are the economic abuse. Economic abuse is the acts that makes or attempt to make a woman financially dependent. This involves a control person's finances and make them financially dependent on the abuser. This can include withholding money, controlling spending, preventing access to employment, and forcing someone to work without pay. The impact of this to our life can leave victims trapped in abusive relationships, unable to escape due to financial dependence. It can also lead to poverty, homelessness, and difficulty providing for oneself and their children. Now, let's go to the protection order. These are the legal documentations that can help protect victims of violence. The Protect Order is an order issued for the purpose of preventing or safeguarding further acts of violence against women or her child, minimizing any disruption in the victim's daily life, and facilitating the opportunity and ability of the victim to independently regain control over her life. They set boundaries and provide a sense of security for the victim. It helps them regain control of their lives. And there are different kinds of protection orders. Number one of this is the Barangay Protection Order, or what they call BPO. This is issued by the Punong Barangay or in his absence, the Barangay Kagawad, ordering the perpetrator to desist from causing or threatening to cause physical harm or bodily injury against the partner. This is effective for 15 days. So, this is the first line of defense. If you are in immediate danger, you can go to your barangay hall and ask the Punong Barangay or the Barangay Kagawad if the Punong Barangay is not available to issue a BPO. The second one is the Temporary Protection Order or the TPO. court on the date of filing of the application or in the course of the hearing and effective for 30 days. If you need more protection, you can go to the court and ask for a PPO. This is a more formal order that is issued by a judge. The next one is the Permanent Protection Order or the PPO. This is issued by the court after notice and hearing and effective until revoked by the court upon application of the person in whose favor the order was issued. So the court will hold a hearing to decide if a PPO is necessary. If the judge decides to grant it, the PPO will remain in effect until the court decides to revoke it. If you are a victim of BAUSI, you have several legal options. You can file a petition for a protection order, file a criminal case for a violent violation of the anti-BAUSI law, file a criminal case with a separate civil action for damages, or file a civil action for damages on its own. May mga paraan para mapanagot ang mga nang-aabos. And most importantly, remember, your rights as a victim survivor. You have the right to be treated with respect and dignity. You have the right to legal assistance from a public attorney's office or the PAO. You are entitled to support services from a DSWD and your LG. You also have the right to all legal remedies under the Family Code and the right to be informed of all these rights and services available to you. Know your rights. Don't be afraid to seek for your help. Remember, each of us can do something to end BAUSI. Cooperation and unity, we can end violence against women and children. Thank you for listening and may we have a better tomorrow. So, to better understand this, let's welcome Police Officer Novelia Diwag to demonstrate us if we encountered abuse.
Good day everyone, thank you for inviting me. So, I would like to share the importance of self-defense. Self-defense is a world where personal safety can never be taken for granted. Understanding self-defense is not just an option but necessity. Self-defense is more than physical techniques. A comprehensive approach to personal safety that encompasses awareness, preventions, and protections. It's about understanding potential risks, recognizing dangerous situations, and having the confidence to protect yourselves better. The first line of self-defense is always awareness. This means staying alert to your surroundings, trust your instincts, and avoiding potential dangerous situations. It's about being proactive, not reactive. Pay attention to your environment, walk with confidence, and be mindful for potential risk. Prevention is the most effective form of self-defense. This includes simple strategies like walking with lit areas, staying in groups when possible, being conscious with personal information, learning to set clear boundaries, developing strong communication skills to diffuse potential conflicts, physical protections. While prevention is ideal, knowing basic physical self-defense techniques can be crucial. This doesn't mean becoming a martial art expert, but understanding fundamental moves that can help you escape or create distance in threatening situations. Many people mistakenly believe that self-defense is not only about fighting. These aren't about becoming a superhero, but about being prepared and confident. Remember, your safety is your responsibility. While we hope to never face dangerous situations, being prepared can make all the difference. Lastly, self-defense is about empowerment. It's about understanding that you have the right and the ability to protect yourself. It's
It's not about living in fear, but living with confidence and awareness. Stay alert, stay confident, and most importantly, stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, speakers. And let's proceed on giving a certificate. And before that, let me invite first Miss Donya, our principal, and Miss Lai, our teacher, to give by giving this certificate. This certificate is given to Cherise M. Cabanya for an active engagement and contribution to the respect, protect, support, creating a violence-free for all, held on December 16, 2024, focusing on the prevention and intervention of violence against women and children. Thank you, ma'am. This certificate is also awarded to Ms. Jovilo Mauri. Thank you, ma'am. And also, the certificate is awarded to Ms. Jasmine Soriano. And last but not the least, let me give this certificate on Police Officer Ms. Lovelia Diwan. Thank you, Mom, sir.